Look at those tires. Go ahead, really. Look at them, that chalky, faded, crusty brown coating, sitting on what used to be a perfectly black factory fresh sidewall. That color is not dirt, that is not road grime, that is oxidation. That is what happens when the rubber your tires are made of is slowly, methodically dying from the outside and baked by ultraviolet radiation, cracked by ozone exposure and left to rot, while you keep spending money on products that promise to fix it, but are actually, and this is literal, making it worse every single time you apply them. You have been lied to, not by accident, not by ignorance, but by design, by a multi-billion-dollar detailing industry that discovered something extraordinary decades ago, something that costs almost nothing, something that actually works, and then buried it under decades of petroleum-based marketing and greasy, overpriced gels that turn your tires into dirt magnets and leave brown streaks down the side of your car every time it rains. What is about to be shown costs $1, and it will restore your tires to that deep satin matte factory black. In under 10 minutes, it will do it without leaving greasy residue, without slinging onto your paint at highway speeds, without attracting brake dust, and without washing away the moment rain hits. But here is what the industry does not want you to know, that $1 solution is not a chemical blend. In the way you think, it is not some synthetic miracle formula. It is a naturally occurring substance used by rubber manufacturers themselves for well over a century, something so simple that it becomes inconvenient the moment you realize it cannot be patented and cannot be locked behind expensive branding. You cannot build a subscription model around something that costs less than a coin at a pharmacy. So instead, the industry did what industries do. They created a cycle, they invented a problem, then sold the cure, then made sure the cure created the problem again. What follows is the exact formula and step-by-step process to reclaim your tires and break out of that cycle completely. The solution is pure vegetable glycerin. That is, pure vegetable glycerin mixed with clean water at a 50-50 ratio, applied to a clean tire sidewall with a foam sponge left to absorb, then wiped down after a short wait. And that is the entire method. When applied correctly, the chalky brown oxidized layer begins to fade, the gray dull film lifts, and underneath appears the deep, rich satin black that the tire originally had when it left the factory. This works because glycerin is a humectant, meaning it attracts and binds water molecules from the surrounding air and delivers them into the rubber structure itself. Rubber is not dead material, it is a polymer matrix, and when that matrix loses moisture, it begins to break down at a molecular level. The brown discoloration people think is dirt is actually the result of oxidation and blooming, a process where protective compounds inside the tire, such as antiozonants, migrate to the surface to defend against ozone and UV exposure. As those compounds reach the surface, they oxidize and turn brown. That brown layer is literally your tire sacrificing its internal chemistry to survive the environment. Most commercial products do not fix this. They mask it and accelerate it. Petroleum solvents strip and redistribute the surface layer, while silicone-based dressings leave behind a coating that looks shiny for a moment but interferes with the tire's natural chemistry. Glycerin works differently. It penetrates the microscopic pores of vulcanized rubber and helps rehydrate the polymer structure, slowing the migration of protective compounds and reducing surface oxidation. Because glycerin dries to a non-greasy, non-sticky finish, it does not attract dust brake residue or road grime, and it does not sling onto paint at speed. Now the application process must be followed correctly. Step 1, the tire must be completely cleaned. First, this is essential and cannot be skipped. Any old dressing brake dust or road film must be removed using a stiff brush and soap or dedicated cleaner. The surface must be scrubbed until the rubber is bare and clean, then rinsed thoroughly and allowed to dry. Step 2, the solution is prepared pure vegetable glycerin mixed with clean water at a 50-50 ratio for heavily damaged tires. A slightly stronger mix can be used, but 50-50 is the standard balance. Step 3, the solution is applied using a foam sponge, not a cloth foam, allows the mixture to be pressed into the rubber instead of dragged across it. The entire sidewall is covered evenly, including lettering and edges without oversaturating. Step 4, the product must be left alone for at least 10 minutes longer. If possible, this waiting period is where absorption happens. The glycerin moves into the rubber structure instead of sitting on top. Step 5, after absorption. A clean, dry microfiber cloth is used to wipe away any excess from the surface. The goal is not to polish, but to remove residue, so only absorbed material remains inside the rubber. After this step, the tire will appear evenly black dry to the touch and free from shine or grease, and unlike commercial dressings, it will not turn brown again within days. One important safety note, Glycerin itself is non-toxic, stable, and widely used in food and pharmaceutical products, but it should still be kept away from brake rotors and braking surfaces, as any residue on those areas can affect braking performance if not cleaned properly. This entire process costs around $1 to $2 per bottle of glycerin, and that same bottle can treat multiple vehicles multiple times. Compare this to commercial tire dressings that rely on petroleum solvents and silicone compounds. Those products create an instant dark shine, but chemically strip protective compounds from the tire surface, accelerating oxidation over time. The solvents used in those products are not neutral. They actively interact with rubber chemistry. They remove protective layers and increase vulnerability to UV damage, which causes tires to brown faster after repeated use. This creates a cycle where the more the product is used, the faster the problem returns, which forces more product use. This is not accidental, it is a repeat purchase system. Every application temporarily improves appearance but damages long-term integrity at the same time. From a financial perspective, the difference is massive. A typical car owner using commercial products spends hundreds of dollars per year on repeated applications while still experiencing rapid fading and browning between uses. Over several years, this adds up to thousands spent on a cosmetic effect that lasts days. The glycerin method reduces that cost to only a few dollars over the same period while producing a longer lasting and more stable finish. There's also another hidden issue with many commercial products. They do not fully bond or absorb into the tire surface at highway speeds. Excess product is flung off the tire and deposited onto body panels, creating greasy streaks along the lower doors and rocker panels. This residue attracts dust and becomes difficult to remove over time, leading to further cleaning costs and surface wear. Glycerin does not behave this way. When properly absorbed, it does not remain as a liquid film on the surface, so there is nothing to fling off at speed. This difference alone is what separates temporary cosmetic shine from stable, long-term restoration. There is also a common argument made that glycerin attracts moisture and could damage rubber, but in practice, the opposite occurs. The glycerin draws moisture into the rubber matrix, where it supports flexibility rather than sitting externally. Rubber naturally contains internal moisture balance, and degradation happens when that balance is lost through heat, UV exposure, and chemical stripping. Glycerin helps restore that internal balance, while commercial solvents strip it further. Once you understand this, the pattern becomes clear. The brown tires people constantly try to fix are not being cleaned. They are being chemically stressed repeatedly by the very products meant to improve them. And once that cycle is broken, the appearance stabilizes, and the tire returns closer to its original state without constant reapplication. What makes this more significant is that the same pattern exists across many industries. Simple solutions hidden behind complex and expensive replacements designed for repeat purchase rather than permanent fix. But in this case, the solution has always been available, sitting in plain sight at low cost overlooked because it does not fit the commercial model. The result of using this method is simple, deeper black finish, cleaner surface, no greasy residue, no streaking, no dust attraction, and no repeated damage cycle. The tire looks like it did when it was new, not artificially glossy, but naturally restored. And once seen clearly, it becomes difficult to ignore how much of the automotive care industry is built around temporary appearance rather than actual preservation. What you do with this information determines whether your tires keep cycling through damage or finally break free from that loop and return to stable condition with minimal cost and effort.